जय गजानन गणेशाय नमस्तुभ्यं हेरंबाय एकदंतिने स्वानंदवासिने तुभ्यं ब्रह्मणस्पतये नमः. We are continuing with the story of Prachetas. Prachina Barhi. Prachina Barhi, he had 10 sons. All of them were following puja of Mahavishnu, whereas Prachina Barhi used to do yajna karmas. So he was stuck in that bondage of yajna, of the fruits derived from yajna karmas. And so he approached Narada, or actually Narada happened to come there, and he asked him for the knowledge. And Narada explained to him everything about the bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, how to graduate, how to move progressively forward from performing of karmas. Merely karma will not get you anywhere. So, with that, he imparted this knowledge, and he also imparted the knowledge of the chitta vrittis, the mind, the vagaries of the mind, the varying tendencies of the mind. Kshipta, Moda, Vikshipta, Ekagra, and Niruddha. That is, from progressively from um, getting attracted to certain things, getting a choice, getting attached, confusion, that is Moda. And then you have occasional distractions between attraction to objects and realization that you are getting attracted. That is an awareness, developing an awareness. Once that awareness develops, you can have a focus. That is, you can develop a single pointedness of the mind. So you can focus on one particular thing or a few things that you want to achieve and thereby achieve success. And then when success becomes a habit, you get so used to success, planning out and attaining it. Then you start get refraining from that. That is, you say, okay, this is very natural. It's coming very naturally to me, so it doesn't attract you so much anymore. So then you start getting rid of it, or you start observing restraint of the mind, restraint of your actions. That develops a niruddhi buddhi, and then that progresses into detachment. So so many people say, I'm not able to be detached. People say be detached, but I'm not able to get detached. um, uh, but then this is it cannot be an overnight achievement. It has to progressively, that is, you must get involved with what you do. Then only you'll be able to retract from that from going further into it. You get involved and then you realize the futility of it, and then you will start withdrawing. So that is how you develop that kind of this, and that habit develops through sakshi bhava, by a witness attitude. When you develop a witness attitude, then only you realize that you're doing this. Otherwise, you're so into it that you don't even realize that you are into that entanglement. You don't realize that you are caught up in that. So unless you stay away from it, you look at it from as a third person, and you also acting your part in it, then you'll be able to know that this is what you're into, a never ending cycle. So it is a continuous pattern, and you are, if you want to extract yourself from it, you have to observe it through a witness state, and that is a practice of meditation. Meditation we practice to develop that state by observing our breathing slowly. When we keep observing our breathing and how the pattern is happening and what its impact on our body, we get out of that control of the mind, and then we can control the mind. So that is all the process. That is where our effort is required. Even that effort is not really an effort, merely an observation. Even mere observation, developing that muscle of observation, develops that awareness, attention, sakshi bhava. So we move from Prachiti's story. Prachiti, sorry, Prachina Barhi, he attains enlightenment from by practicing whatever Narada told, observing himself, and finally he went to he handed over his kingdom to his sons. That he had 10 sons, Prachetas, who to collectively were known as Prachetas. He handed over the kingdom and he went to the forest and practiced penance for years and years, finally attained union with the sublime by practicing that step-by-step path which Narada had taught him, and he became Brahma Bhuyatva, that is union with the divine, and he attained moksha, liberation. Then we come to the story of his sons. That is, his son, he had 10 sons. They were worshipping Vishnu. They used to go to the river side and worship after having a bath in the river and all. They practiced. They engaged in puja of Mahavishnu. Now Vishnu, seeing their devotion for years and years together, he one day he manifested before them, riding on Garuda. Garuda is his Vahana. Mahavishnu's Vahana is Garuda. He came on the Garuda and he manifested before them. So they were happy. They was extremely happy looking at him, and they chant one prayer to Mahavishnu. So if you look at we have been looking at the extolling the praise of Ganesha. Now, well, let's look at the prayer or the composition by this Prachetas for Mahavishnu. So Prachetas Uchu, they say, नमस्ते केशवायैव नमस्ते भूतभावनः निराकाराय कृष्णाय विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे आदिमध्यान्तहीनाय वासुदेवाय ते नमः सर्वज्ञानविनाशाय ज्ञानदात्रे कृपालवे लक्ष्मीपते नमस्तुभ्यं भक्तसंरक्षकाय च भक्तिप्रियाय देवाय शेषशायिन् नमोऽस्तु ते भक्तिमुक्तिप्रदायैव विकुण्ठपतये नमः नारायणाय शान्ताय सत्त्वयुक्ताय ते नमः वयं सपितरो धन्य यै प्रदुष्टे जनार्दन वरं देहि विशेषेण सृष्टिसामर्थ्यदायकम्. So they pray to him, O Mahavishnu, now if you are pleased with our penance, if you are pleased with our austerities, our worship, then give us the ability, the skills, the samarthya for the creation of whatever activities we may do in this world in future. So we feel blessed that by your presence, they worship him as the Supreme Himself, Nirakaraya, including Adi, Madhya, Madhya, Antahinaya. All of them, you neither have a beginning, a middle, or end. For all purposes, whoever is your deity of worship, favorite deity of worship, that becomes the supreme. So for those who are Vaishnavites, those who are worshippers of Mahavishnu as a supreme being, for them, Vishnu is everything. So he is the supreme being. So in that way, like to Lakshmi Pate, they worship, they sing this praise. Vishnu was pleased with this prayer, and he blessed them. He says, may you be prosperous, may you have all the skills. He blessed them with all the skills necessary for carrying on the activities of the ruling their kingdom. And he also blessed, saying that this prayer that you have sung in praise of me will grant all fruits to those who chant these prayers. Anyone who reads or listens to it will receive my prasada, blessings, and all kinds of enjoyment. So, seeing this blessing them with this, Vishnu disappeared. Now, Prachetas, they went back to their ashram where they were staying and performing this puja and everything. Then, now they realized that since their father had left, to the forest for meditation, they had to return to the kingdom to take over the kingdom. So on their way, they found on their way back, these people were staying near the river and they had made one hut there and they were staying there. Now they were on their way back. On their way back, they found a lot of difficulties. They had to face a number of difficulties, and wherever there was lawlessness, those were the difficulties they faced. It came as an obstruction on their path. So sometimes when they were on their way, they found that they came across a forest. So that forest itself, the density of the forest, the thickness of the forest, that itself became an obstacle. So they crossed each one of these kind of obstacles. And when they had came to this forest, they found that this forest was obstructing their way. Means it was so dense that they could not find a path from in between. This forest was ruled by Chandra, the moon. And Chandra, he gave his daughter, who was the Kanya of this that is Vrikshi, the daughter of the forest. See, what had happened was, there was Apsara who was born as the daughter of this daughter in this forest. So this forest or the trees, they took care of this this child. This child's name was Marisha. They took care of this child, and they said that to these prachetas, we will allow you to cross provided you will marry this daughter, this Apsara girl whom they were taking care of. So when they accepted her, and they accepted her in marriage, and then the trees parted the ways. They made way for these prachetas, these 10 sons, to go forward to their kingdom. So after accepting this, their anger was pacified. That is, this forest's anger was pacified, and they extinguished the Agni. Means they were so angry, the forest was so angry that automatically fire came around. This uh, they It broke out. So when they took this daughter as their wife, I mean, they accepted this daughter, then a pathway came for them to move forward. So the sons of Prachibari, after they arrived at the kingdom and they took over the kingdom, and they took care of all the subjects in their kingdom as though they were their own sons. So these sons, so now Mudgalacharya is narrating to Daksha Prajapati, O Daksha, these 10s of Prachina Barhi, whose wife was this Marisha, as a result of the curse. See, this Daksha, he's telling Daksha, you were born to this Marisha. Now remember, this was after, like in this particular Manvantara, where you remember the Prithvi, where Prithvi through Prithvi, this whole of creation happened. After that, the Daksha Prajapati. In every Manvantara, there will be a new Daksha Prajapati. In the first Manvantara, Daksha Prajapati was the Manasa of Brahma himself. But in this Manvantara, the Daksha Prajapati was born to Marisha from these 10 sons. And he, as a result of the curse of Rudra. So, but then, because of even then, Daksha Prajapati, you had that luster, a divine luster in you. And so because of that luster, people still think of you as son of Brahma only, not as a Daksha Prajapati, son of Marisha and his Prachetas. So then this Daksha Prajapati was coronated, and these Prachetas, these 10 sons, they all once again went back to the forest because they were already interested only in puja and austerities. So after when Daksha Prajapati became big, they handed over the kingdom to Daksha, and they proceeded to the forest and started worshipping Ganesha. And again, the knowledge of Ganesha was given to them by Narada. Narada only came there, eminent Muni Narada came there, and they told him, "O Prachetas, what do you desire now?" So the Prachetas, these 10 sons, they had worshipped Mahavishnu, but they were only give. What did they get from Mahavishnu? They got boons for ruling the kingdom well. They had all joys, happiness, enjoyment, satisfaction, but nothing more than that. So they said, "We want peace now." So Narada came and gave him the knowledge. For knowledge of peace, you have to worship Ganesha. Then only he only is the master or lord of Shanti Yoga. That is, he himself is the very embodiment of yoga. And unless you know about this Shanti Yoga, you will not get peace. So then Narada imparted to the kings about Shanti Yoga. He says, "O king, Ganesha is proficient in yoga. He is the supreme Brahma. He is referred to as Shanti Yoga itself. So sing the glory of Ganesha. Meditate on the Ekakshara mantra or any mantra of Ganesha, and then and get that knowledge, understand, imbibe that knowledge. So you may have all the knowledge. The knowledge is that chittas are there, chitta vrittis are there, that is Chitta, Moda, Vikshipta, all this vagary changing nature of the mind, getting attracted towards object, getting involved in the objects, and then realizing that that's the limit. There's nothing further than that in that. And then refraining yourself, restraining yourself, all these processes, once you pass, you will attain a state of samadhi. Samadhi is a state of meditative union. In a state of meditation, you are temporarily detached, you're temporarily separated from material objects, and you get united with that unmanifest form, that which cannot be seen, heard, touched, felt, or anything. And that is called is a state of samadhi. So when that samadhi state is achieved, you can get a knowledge or an experience of the beingness of that divine. So he tells this process, and he says, whatever you see, whatever you may be engaged in, whatever you may get happiness, joy, fulfillment, satisfaction, everything is there, but they're all Maya. Maya means which is continuously changing, evolving. It is illusion. Today you might think this thing might appear like this, but that same thing might appear something else to a different person. So it is not the actual reality. So when reality itself is so different for different people, for each person, then what is the reality? How can we the word reality apply to it? What is reality in reality? So when you question like that, you will ultimately reach a state of absolute reality, which is the same for everybody, irrespective of the experiences of everybody else. So when you reach that state, it is the state of Heramba, Gajanana, Heramba, Heramba. And then, so in the after giving this knowledge, Narada's just he was so lost in that sound of Heramba, Heramba. He chanted that name and he proceeded away again back on his travels across the universe. So Prachetas, after listening to this knowledge from Narada, they selected a particular place for their meditation. They prepared an idol of Ganesha and sat in front and then chanted on the name of Ganesha, and um, uh, they became peaceful in the end. And ultimately, they united with Ganesha Brahma. So this was the 27th chapter, the legend of Prachetas, in the second part of the Purana Upanishad, Srimad Mudgal Puran, Khand 2. We shall see the story of Kashyapa, next. So in this particular story of in this particular khand, we are seeing the various legends of Ekadanta. Ekadanta Gajanana's in Gajanana's incarnation as Ekadanta. In next we shall see his incarnation in the house of Kashyapa Muni, Rishi Kashyapa. Let us meditate for the next half an hour. Relax into yourself. See that your feet are firmly planted on the floor, spine erect, eyes gently closed. Put all your thoughts to one side and give yourself the permission to be with yourself. Bring your attention to your breathing. Get into the habit of rhythmic breathing. Count 1 to 10 as you inhale and 1 to 10 as you exhale. Get into the flow of your breath as it enters your nostrils, goes all the way into the abdomen, and you exhale. During the course of the day, we are hardly aware of our breathing. So these moments when we consciously breathe will be in touch with our awareness, our attention. Because when we observe our breath, the mind is separated from the breath. And awareness is one part of that mind which observes the thoughts in the mind. It has the capacity to separate as a witness, as an observer. When we separate the observer from the mind, we are able to think, we are able to act and behave, respond with better control rather than out of fear. Today we find we are responding not reacting, even responding out of fear, cautiously, with extra caution. We feel as though we are observed because there are CCTVs all around. This fear of being observed comes in the way of our normal behavior. It's different from the fear of God or fear of a higher divine being. The fear of God or some divine being or a superpower is out of a reverence. It is out of respect or a certain awe of a supernatural power of the Creator. But this other fear of being observed is real fear of being caught. It may not even be wrong actions. It may be even natural things that we do. But the fear of some eyes watching that has crept into our lives. Be it the shopping mall, be it the housing societies, be it the roads, be it the signals. Everywhere there is a watchdog in the form of CCTVs. Even airports, railway stations, bus stations, everywhere you have this. It began in the West. 20 years ago, is to wonder this ununderstandable fear in the West. But slowly it has caught up the East as well. Now, with increased Wi Fi, use of mobiles, this fear has assumed large proportions. People want to remain connected to their loved ones, your friends, family. And so you're always sending messages, seeing whether they have responded, whether they have seen your message. That fear of losing connection. That fear of losing control over your own life, that feeling of getting lost, disconnected. Virtual reality makes the problem worse. You don't really know whether you're connected to the real person or not. This imaginary fear has added to the real fear. That's why we are in a confused state. When masses are in confusion, the whole system goes out of gear. This is caused by the wireless connectivity. The wireless connectivity is like electrical signals controlling your nerve channels. Your mobiles are in your pocket or in your hand, on your person, and the wireless vibrations or the wavelengths of messages, which may be sound, pictures, light, reaches your body, which is of a high frequency than what your body nerves can handle. We saw in another session how our chakras, our energy centers in the body, has a certain frequency. And if we can match our circumstances with that frequency, we are in a balanced state. But if a frequency which is very high, very strong, coupled with our own emotions of fear, it causes panic. We need to protect our children from this irrational fear. Fear makes us succumb to thoughts from a superior mind, a stronger mind, not necessarily superior in terms of values. The superiority may be in terms of holding of power, control, access, authority. We are already in it. It is that entanglements that I spoke about, the guttam of all that thread, unbound thread, it needs sorting out one by one. For that, we need patience with ourselves, calmness, balance, understanding, awareness. Everybody wants a privacy or a space for themselves, a space where we can be free from this fear. This earth is all that we have. There's no running away. We find escapes to mountains, seashores, forest lands to escape this fear. This fear is not real. It is the overpowering of one energy over the other, over a normal physical energy. Understanding this and becoming aware of this grip is enough to loosen it. Just stand back, take a step back, and look at it, whatever is in front of you that has got you in fear. A step back will give you clarity. More often than not, it is somebody else's fear imposed on you. It's not your own fear. Be vigilant. Be aware of when this fear grips you. When you are under the influence of fear, more often we will agree to something which we would not have agreed in sanity. Become aware of what is good for you. What is good for you is good for all. Respect what is good for all. When you decide what is good for you. Only when we understand the impact, the crippling effect of fear on us, and how we struggle to get out of its grips, that we understand the need for removing it on a larger scale. That's the essence of humanity. Help in relieving this fear with amongst each other, to each other, rather than adding to it. Focus on solutions rather than control, greater and greater control. Fear can be overcome by giving confidence, by lending a ear, entering into conversations that can release that fear. Practice downtime on mobiles. That will give space for recovery of your energies. Otherwise, over time, the nerves get weakened. Practice quiet time. Just be with yourself, doing nothing, or reading, or just relaxing, observing your breath. That will give a fresh perspective to any situation that makes you fearful. Mad rush into activity, one after the other. It leads nowhere. That's why take a break. Bring your attention to your breathing. Hold the breath for 4 seconds between inhalation and exhalation, and the next inhalation. Inhale to a count of 6, hold to a count of 4, exhale to a count of 6, hold to a count of 4, and continue. completely exhale. Exhale fully. And then come back to your breathing of 1 to 10. Let's chant Om for 2 minutes. Om. 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 Slowly wriggle your fingers and your toes. Rub your hands together. Up your palms and place it on the eyes. Gently rub your face and open your eyes.